So I was thinking about there was somebody that was listening to my channel, actually a YouTube channel, and this person went from being in a nursing career to in a technology career and doing something that's really in tech, very much so. So nursing is um, very focused on customer care and very focused on being there and helping people at the moment. But, tech is a much different role. I think this person was in sales in a software company. And I wanted to sort of point out that how do you actually get into tech from a non-tech career in a non-technology career is actually quite easy. Um, and I think you need to sort of take this to heart in terms of what you do, right? And it's a lot like other careers, and a lot like everything else is sort of steering your direction, is to incrementally keep going in that particular direction, right? So, especially if you have some sort of skill set, if you just keep applying and you keep, you know, pushing at something, that's how you would get into a particular career. Now, there's like two ways that you can get into a career, and there's like no good way of doing them, and they're both very time consuming, so they require a lot of your resources and you have to be just very much dedicated to it, and I don't know what the right answer is either way, right? So the first way is you just keep applying to different positions that are somewhat relevant with your particular skill set, right? So you just keep applying, and somebody will bite, especially if you're talented and you're doing okay, right? Like a nursing path is definitely in demand in other fields, right? I think there's a lot to be said with that. Or if you're a physician, for example, you would be in high demand in another field because you've demonstrated that you're competent and all those kind of things. This is a big thing that everybody's afraid of, right? Like, are you gonna burn them? And are you competent enough to actually get up and go do something, right? And that's all people are looking for. So there's that, and then you just keep applying and keep going, right? And so and apply like crazy broadly in terms of getting there in different routes that you're like, I would never think of doing that. And the thing is, if you do that, then you get your foot in the door, right? That's the key thing, getting your foot in the door in an area that you're interested in. Once you get your foot in the door, then you can keep, applying to different positions and sort of work your way up that way. And it requires a lot of work and a lot of dedication. I don't know what is the right answer to that in terms of doing it, but it just requires a lot of work. Now, the second way is a really targeted approach, right? Where you're really focused on a certain career, a certain job, a certain area, and those kind of things. And that's where you just start um, immersing yourself in being okay. And this is a thing that this is a really hard thing for me to do, but just being okay with telling people that you're looking in a particular area, right? Like I really struggle with that. I'm always kind of looking. Um, if somebody was to offer something at me, I would really consider it, right, and really think about it. And so that's where you have to um, just get immersed in the field of interest, right? So there's one person that I'm aware of um, that has done this, right? They were really interested in space, super crazy interest in space, and this person that I know actually quite well in the community, just kept having one foot in the door with there's a space center that's in the city that I live in, and just one foot in the door all the time, like always interested in it, always doing something, right? Like volunteering in different ways. And then eventually, this person, after 15 years of doing this, it was a fairly long time, was offered an amazing position at this space center. So that there is these combinations, right, of just just being preoccupied with it. And I think that's what it's really important about. And, I guess there's a third way of being preoccupied. That's what I'm basically doing here with just being so open on the internet is you create your job, your position, and you create that sort of interest in what you're doing, and you just be like passionate about it. And it's going to take you 10 years, right? Like that's the thing. Like who cares if you are in a dead end job right now? If you have that hope of really pushing at something, like if you like a particular hobby, for example, right? Like you like making hamburgers and you're all about hamburgers. Well, if you create the hamburger podcast or you create the hamburger YouTube channel and you do thousands and thousands of episodes on this, right? Like just a godly amount, or every episode that you make is just amazing and outstanding, and you do like 150, 300 of those things that are just off the charts. People are going to notice, right? They're just going to notice. Now, is that going to turn into something? I don't know, right? Like it's the same thing as this whole reciprocity project. It would be awesome if somebody reached out to me, and hired me in unique and creative ways, like for advertising, for example, or if Tesla reached out to me to work in their, senior management or something along those lines, I would be interested, right? Like I would not decline, or a company like that, right? Like I would not be hesitant to really give it some deep thought. Um, and that's what I want you to sort of think about is how do you just get noticed, right? How do you get into that? And if you do a combination of all of those three things, like you're in a job that you don't really want to be in, just try the three combinations of those. It's going to take you a while, right? Now, if it's going to be, if you need to get a job in a, you know, in tech or a certain location right away, um, the best thing is to just go there and start walking up and down. Honestly, start walking up and down the street and get hired on as a very low level position. Cleaning floors or whatever, any position, they'll be interested if you just walk up and down and you get in that. It doesn't matter whether you have a skill set or not. Just walk up and down and just get your foot in the door, right? Like that's the key thing. Nobody does that today, but that's how I got a lot of my first jobs. Is just walk up and down, asking, walk, just hitting the streets and doing that as much as I can. So if you did that, you would actually get a position. I'd almost guarantee that, and pretty quickly. Um, but you know, to get something that you might be interested in or looking for opportunities. So when I talk about that opportunities, it's not that. I mean, you make your opportunities, right? And this is how you make opportunities is people reach out to you that you would never know, and they would never think about you if you do this kind of stuff, right? Like just be present, out and about within your thing that you're interested in, and keep reaching out to it and keep going with it, right? Being vocal, a proponent, thinking about things, talking about all the negatives of it, taking all the positives, all sorts of things. I think if you do that and you repeatedly do that over and over and over again, somebody's going to know. And every once in a while, if you don't have a job already, right? Like that's the key thing. If you don't have a job, you just say, hey, I'm looking for a position in this area. But if you do, um, you can just be open, that you're open for things, but at the same time, realize that hey, other people are listening and stuff. So that's the key. All right. So hopefully this helps you out from getting from a non-tech career into a technology career, and hopefully it's going to help you out in many different areas. It takes a long time, so don't get discouraged. Just keep going, keep pushing, day in and day out. I'm telling you, it just takes time. and you gotta have that hope for a while, right? Just keep pushing. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day.